Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the one and only Hosting Cruz, bringing you another exciting edition of boxing. Don't forget to hit and to like, subscribe to my channel. It's always greatly appreciated. Stay tuned. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Hosting Cruz, and the new WBC bantamweight champion of the world, Takuma Inoue. Ladies and gentlemen, Takuma Inoue this morning in Japan has stepped out of the shadows and into the spotlight. And when I mean stepped out of the shadows, I mean of his own famous pound-for-pound great Naoya Inoue, his brother. Takuma Inoue, all throughout his career, he just carries that name, Inoue. His brother has been one of the top fighters in the sport for some time and still is. He's a future Hall of Famer, if not the greatest Japanese fighter to ever lace up a pair of gloves, arguably, right? So tonight, Takuma Inoue took a step further in his career, becoming a two-time bantamweight champion of the world. He was a former WBA champion, and now he's the current WBC champion. So he took on Tenshin Nasukawa, who was coming into the fight 7-0 in his short pro career, but was on a serious momentum coming in. He was coming in with victories over Jason Maloney and Victor Santillan in his short pro career. And those two fighters are excellent fighters. Jason Maloney, a two-time bantamweight champion of the world. Victor Santillan, top contender in the sport. In the weight class, terrific fighter himself from the Dominican Republic. So those last two wins back-to-back got Tenshin ready for this kind of challenge in Takuma Inoue, who's been at the mountaintop already, winning the world title. And this fight was for Tenshin to live up to his hype and everything that he's busted his ass for in his 7 professional fights. It was to win this world title and join the long storied list of tremendous Japanese boxing world champions. And he came up short. He was doing pretty darn good, and he was looking on his way to claiming that world title early on in the fight. First few rounds, Tenshin all the way, controlling the pit, controlling the rhythm, popping that left hand, showboating, countering Takuma at will. Mid-rounds, the fight started to get really competitive as Takuma Inoue started to close the gap, landing thunder's right hands, body shots, and just closed the gap and started to land his power shots. Now, like I said before, Takuma only has 5 KOs, but when he hits you, when he lands his shots, man, it sounds like he has more than 5 KOs. Tenshin, very talented fighter, tremendous kickboxer. He's undefeated with 30, almost 40 professional fights. Even had an exhibition with Floyd Mayweather a few years ago. Tenshin, and the Tenshin that boxed Mayweather in that exhibition is not the same Tenshin that stepped into the ring earlier this morning. He's a much better fighter. I'm sure Mayweather wouldn't want an exhibition with him today. Let's be clear on that. But be that as it may, Tenshin, like I said, he's a much better fighter. He has dedicated his craft to the sport of boxing. Leave that tremendous kickboxing career behind to focus on professional boxing. And this morning, he fought for the world title for the first time, and he came up short in a very competitive fight. And it was just not his night, man. Takuma Inoue got the better of him in the exchanges, finished stronger, and got the win by unanimous decision and became a 2-time bantamweight champion of the world. As for Tenshin, man, back to the drawing board. He in 7 professional fights. Already was in a world title fight earlier today in Japan. But like I said, the wins over Maloney and Santillan got him ready for this. You know, those were two good solid wins. And Tenshin, even though in defeat, he showed that he can hang with someone with like Takuma Inoue. But Takuma Inoue, like I said, he's been here before. He's a former world champion, and now he's a two-time world champion. And as you can see here in the video, in the picture here, Takuma Inoue standing with two WBC titles next to his brother, his legendary brother, Iowa Inoue, the monster, the pound for pound great. To me, in my opinion, the best Japanese fighter right now, until he fights Junto Nakatani in what should be the greatest fight between two Japanese fighters, and one of the best fights in the history of the sport to make right now. So yeah, man, very impressive performance by Takuma Inoue on becoming a two-time bantamweight champion of the world, defeating Tenshin Nasukawa, who's a very talented fighter, who still has what it takes to become a world champion. You know, this is not the end for Tenshin. Today was just not his night or day. Yep, back to the drawing board. This was a fight between number 1 and number 2 for the vacant title. And yeah, so let me know what you guys think about this fight. Takuma Inoue becoming WBC champion and two-time now bantamweight champion of the world. As Tenshin suffers his first professional loss. He's undefeated as a kickboxer with almost 40 professional fights, or about that, and now in 7 professional boxing matches. This is his first loss as a professional fighter ever. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Wilson Cruz. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. It is always a pleasure to talk to you guys about boxing. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.